Hi everyone, so today I wanted to explain how to cross the land border between Mexico and Guatemala at Tecun Uman. So the process begins a few days before. To get into Guatemala you need a negative COVID test, and you can either do an antigen test within 72 hours or you can do a PCR test within 94 hours. So we chose to do the antigen test because it's more readily available throughout Mexico. You can get one done at Farmacias del Ahorro. That's the name of the pharmacy. It's a pharmacy chain throughout Mexico, so they offer the antigen test for 350 pesos, which is the equivalent to $17 US. So the process was really easy. You just find a location, you go to their website, and you go in, you pay, you make an appointment, and then you go back later, and you take the test. So you sit with the doctor, they stick the Q-tip up your nose, wiggle around in there, and then you sit there for 15 minutes with the doctor and they give you your results. So they'll give you a sheet that looks like this. It'll have a QR code and the doctor will sign it. So once you have this, you need to make copies of it because when you get to the border crossing, they're going to ask you for a copy. And the nurse who checks your COVID test will also want the copy of it, but she would like to see the original as well. So once you get into Guatemala, you drive over a bridge from Mexico to Guatemala, and the first thing you're going to do when you get into Guatemala is you're going to get the car fumigated. So to get the car fumigated, it's about 38 quetzales, which is the equivalent to $5 US. So you pay in cash. Make sure you have cash to cross this border because you're going to need it. You can't pay with a card. So cash, and there are people that you can exchange cash at the border with in case you don't have quetzales or you have pesos or you have dollars. So they'll give you this certificate, and then you just stay in the car, and the man or woman who's there will fumigate the car for you. It takes all of 30 seconds. Once you're done with the fumigation, you park your car. So when you get to the border crossing, there's one building on the right, a parking lot, and then another building. So you park in the lot, and then you get out of the car, you walk over to the little table outside of immigrations, and there should be a nurse sitting there. She'll ask you for your COVID test. You'll give her the original and the copy. She'll hold on to the copy, and then she'll take your temperature with a thermometer. It's one of those like scanner thermometers. So it's super easy. Then she'll write down your temperature on a little white piece of paper with your name, and then she'll hand that paper back to you, and then you can walk into the immigrations office. So once you walk into the immigrations office, you'll hand the immigrations official your passport with the little white paper inside. They'll give you the temporary visa paperwork to fill out, the same thing that you would get on a plane. You just fill out where you're staying, what your name is, your passport number, all that general information, and then they'll grant you a visa. He will then stamp your passport. So once he stamps your passport, you're officially welcome into the country. All that's good. So your immigration process is done there if you're just going into the country, but if you have a car, you have to register it with aduana to get a temporary import permit for the vehicle. So to do this, once you get a stamp from the immigrations official, you need to make a photocopy of that stamp in your passport. So right across the street from the parking lot, you're gonna see a place to make photocopies. So you go over there, you make photocopies, and you ask the guy to photocopy the stamp in your passport. Once that's done, you take all your paperwork and you go into the building that says SAT, S-A-T, it's blue letters and it's against a white backdrop. So you'll see it, it's literally the only other building. So you go in, there's some windows on the right, and you'll talk to an official there. You'll tell them you want to temporarily import your vehicle. So they'll ask you for all the paperwork. So what you need is a copy of your passport, a copy of the title of your car, a copy of your driver's license front and back, a copy of the stamp in your passport welcoming you into Guatemala, and that's it. But you also need the originals. So they're going to ask you for the originals and the copies. So you hand her the paperwork. We had a woman, so I'll say her. We handed her the paperwork, and then she gives you a receipt. So you have to go to the window across the room, and that's the bank basically where you pay. You have to pay it in quetzales. So if you don't have quetzales, once again, you can go across the street and exchange the currency, but you need to pay it in cash. So it's the equivalent of 26 US dollars. I think it was 187 quetzales. So you pay for that, and then once you pay for that, you bring her back the receipt, and she'll continue the process of filling out your paperwork. So she's gonna ask you if like all your information's correct. She'll show it to you, double check it, make sure everything's correct. If you want to add an extra driver onto your temporary permit, you can just give her the photocopy of the driver's license front and back. So I added Keith to it, so we were both drivers, authorized drivers. And then once she's gonna come out in a few minutes after that, and you're gonna walk out to your vehicle with her. So she's gonna check the VIN number of your car, she's gonna check the make and model and all that like technical information about the car, and she'll fill it out on the paperwork for you. She puts it into her computer and then she gives you the tip. So she'll also have 2 security guards come out to the car with you. They're gonna search your car. So the search wasn't like super intense, but they did go through our duffel bags pretty intensely. But they just like poked around, asked to look in the cooler again, asked if we had like anything illegal or whatever, but we didn't. So process probably took like 5 minutes for them to search around the car, and all was good. So they were really nice. We joked around with them because it was super, super hot, but they were really nice. Everyone was really pleasant. Then you just go back into the SAT building, Aduana, and you just wait. And we waited maybe like 20-30 minutes for her to fill out all the paperwork. Then she'll come back out and put a sticker on your car on your front left window, and that authorizes the vehicle to be driven in Guatemala. So that was all we did. It was really easy. The entire border crossing process probably took an hour and a half altogether, with the fumigation, the immigration, COVID check, and importing the car. So it was a really pleasant experience. I definitely recommend crossing at Tecun Uman. It's from Mexico, it's about 45-minute drive from Tapachula, and that's where we stayed the night before. But yeah, the town is chill, everything was fine. We drove off and we were on our way to Quetzaltenango. So if this was helpful, please check out my blog at groovinandcruisin.com. I wrote everything out in detail, so if you have any questions, that should be helpful, or if not, feel free to leave a message. Take care.